With us now, Democratic Congressman Khanna met with Zohran Mamdani today.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Do you understand why, particularly when you hear something like that from Omar Fattah, it scares a lot of people, and I think it angers a lot of people, even people who are the children of immigrants?
Well, let me talk about my experience. I mean, I'm a son of immigrants.
Yep.
My parents came from India. I represent Silicon Valley. We've got 5 companies that are over $1 trillion. $14 trillion. My district produces more wealth than any place in human history. So obviously I believe in innovation. I believe in free enterprise. So you ask, why is Mamdani resonating? Because he's saying that there are a lot of young people who don't feel that the American dream is accessible for them. And he's talking about affordability, rents, and good jobs. And we've got to figure out, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with a nation where we have prosperity and a lot in decline?
Completely understand. I have said many times on this program, those who underestimate this anger and this movement that is fueling Mamdani, and I think fueling your success as well, was like dismissing Trump in 2015 and 2016. There's a lot of similar parallels. What is different, I think, among people like Mamdani is this flirting with more than just taxing the rich. It's government-controlled grocery stores. It is the willingness to talk about Israel in a way that is really awful. Mamdani says he will discourage the use of globalizing the Intifada, as if that is some enormous concession on his part. Here's Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York.
I actually raised many of those concerns with him directly. I said you have a lot of healing to do with the Jewish community. The other one is the business community. Now, everyone was having a hair on fire moment, and I said, let's just calm it all down.
How can Democrats ask Jewish Americans, of which a lot are and are big supporters of, to vote for someone and vote for a party that is willing to accept a guy who all he can say is, I'm going to discourage the term, let's kill all the Jews?
Well, look, first of all, I unequivocally condemn globalized Intifada.
Thank you. Why is that so hard for him to say? Did you ask him today?
I didn't get a chance to ask a question. He was talking about digital strategy. I hope he will as well. I mean, I think I don't know exactly the language, but look, FDR had a coalition, right? You know who the most effective person, one of the people in the coalition, was? Representative Rankin. Representative Rankin was a terrible anti-Semite, and he got the Tennessee Valley Authority passed. The coalition is broad. Now, I think Zohran is going to be committed to protecting Jewish Americans. I think he has a view that's different on Israel than me and some others, but we have to build a broad tent.
Let me drill down on that, though. It's one thing to have a broad tent. It's another thing to have a broad tent, as you point out, that includes anti-Semitism. That's a different thing. I mean, I don't think you'd be okay with Republicans having a broad tent and saying, hey, if we want to have members of the Ku Klux Klan in Congress, that's fine.
Sure, but Zohran's not that.
Yes, he is.
You really think that?
Yeah, I think if you cannot say globalizing the Intifada is wrong, despicable, and calling for the murder of Jews, and no one should say it, I think it's terrible.
Well,
absolutely.
Look, but I think he had Brad Lander, Jewish American, support him. He said he's going to believe in Jewish American safety. Now, we have a different view on Israel. I believe.
Is this a problem for the Democratic Party?
No, I tell you why. Because ultimately why he won is the economics, and it's the economic populism. And if we figure out how to get that spirit of anger and distrust and change, and we have a more pro-growth message and a message that's consistent with free enterprise, then I think it's a winning coalition.
There may be a winning coalition on the left. I think in New York it definitely is. In Silicon Valley it is. This is new Ipsos polling. July 2005, when George W. Bush was president in his second term, Democrats were +7 in the generic ballot. 2017, Donald Trump's first term, 2017, July, +7. July 2025, Democrats are only +2.
No.
You don't think the far left, even maybe yourself included, is part of the reason why the middle isn't part of that number?
Well, I consider myself a common sense progressive Democrat, so I and work with Republicans. But I'll tell you, first of all, those numbers are before the Epstein issue. I think the Epstein issue is a huge, huge problem for Donald Trump.
Now something Democrats are suddenly interested in, but go ahead.
Massey and I are leading the charge to have it released, and 7 Republicans are joining us. It's going to pass the Congress, and it's about disclosure. But I'll tell you what, I think the Democrats need a positive economic message. We need to understand the cost of living is too high, good jobs aren't there, and offer for our vision. How are we going to create 21st century jobs? How are we going to have a manufacturing revolution? How are we going to build the economy? And I think what's been missing is a proactive, positive vision, and that's what will help improve those numbers.
That will help improve those numbers. I'm just going to ask you one more about Omar Fatah.
Yes.
I don't want to make you answer for every progressive, only a couple of them, all right? Here's Omar Fatah back when he was in the Senate in 2023.
Okay.
You want to know who the real threat is, Madam President? They look like many of the members that sit in the front. The greatest domestic threat facing the United States comes from, quote, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race.
I don't agree with that. Obviously, look, white Americans scaled the cliffs of Normandy. White Americans helped write the Constitution. This is a great country. It's a country that continues to perfect itself. But I love this nation. When you have an Indian American of Hindu faith born in Philadelphia in 1976 who represents the richest district in the world, that's a great American story. So I am all for America.
You're a great American who's willing to come on and talk about a lot of things. And we've always admired you for that.
Thank you for having me.
Congressman, it's good to see you as always.
Appreciate it.